Hey everyone, Annette here. This is going to be my first cooking video. I got this chicken with my Gleaner's haul last week, if you guys saw that video. And I said I would show you how I make a roast chicken. So this chicken's just been taken out of the wrapper, rinsed off. You make sure that you take all of the gut bag that's inside, make sure that's out. You don't want to cook that in there. Just make sure that it's all cleaned up. It looks a little bit like it's falling apart, but that's okay because we're going to tie the legs together after we're finished prepping it. And then over here, I have two separate spice mixtures. This one is just going to get kind of mixed up and thrown inside the cavity of the bird. If you guys have fresh herbs, it's great to throw fresh herbs or lemon inside your chicken. I just don't have that today. I only have dried today. So I'll go over what is in here with you. And so that right there is dried lemon peel. Then there's dried thyme, dried parsley. This is a Weber roasted garlic and herb mix, poultry seasoning, and pepper. And I'll show you guys the Weber. This is the Weber roasted garlic and herb seasoning. It's a really good blend. It tastes really, really, really good on chicken and roasted vegetables. So I like especially putting it in with my roast chicken or putting it in like when I make stock for chicken soup. So this has the same thing in it, except it does not have the lemon peel. And that's going to go in this melted butter. And I'll get a fork and stir that around in just a second. And then I'm going to baste the outside of this bird with that herbed butter. And then I'm also going to put it underneath the skin. So I'll be right back and show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so I mixed the herbs in with the butter. That's this right here. That's what that looks like. And then I put about this is about two to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's going to go inside the bird as well. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take these herbs. You should probably stir them up just a little bit so that they're incorporated. And this is just for extra seasoning inside your turkey or your chicken, and it will kind of leach out into the broth and make your gravy taste really good. So I'm just going to take this, and hopefully you guys can see. I can't see. I'm going to put this right inside there, and I'll kind of rub it in with my hand a little bit better. Making a whole chicken, you pretty much have to use your hands, so if you're concerned about touching raw meat or you don't like to touch raw meat, you can wear gloves when you do this. So I'm just going to rub all those herbs inside the bird. And then I'm going to take my lemon juice and also put that inside the bird. And I'm sure that a lot of that lemon juice will leak out into the broth, but that's fine too. It just adds a nice fresh flavor to chicken. So there's that. And then I've already kind of pre-lifted the skin here. I did rip mine. Just be really careful when you're doing that not to rip your skin if you can help it. The skin was really thin on this chicken. But you just put your fingers underneath, and there's a membrane, and you just separate the skin from the meat. And that way you can put some of that butter down in here. And I'm probably going to use my hands for this too. So pour a little bit of that on there. I'm going to try and get it underneath the skin a little bit, all on the breast of that turkey, and give it lots of flavor. I find that that's something that I think people don't want to make whole chickens at home because the breast meat gets dried out and or they're just really lacking in flavor. And so you feel like if you well season your chicken, then you won't have that problem. So that's all underneath the skin, so that's going to season their breast meat and help keep it moist. Try and pull that skin back over the top so that it stays. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this herb butter right on there and rub it into the chicken. You can't worry about having messy fingers doing it this way. You could always use a spoon and a pastry brush or something like that if you wanted to. But I'm just going to smooth this out over the outside of the chicken. And on the legs. And if there's seasoning that you do like on your chicken, feel free to use it. If there's something that I used that you don't like, don't use it. You have to make, you know, every recipe that you see kind of your own. You can go by your own family's tastes and preferences. So there's the chicken. It's all herbed and buttered up. I'm going to take a piece of cheesecloth because I don't have any cooking twine right now, and I am going to tie the legs up. I'm not going to truss the whole thing. I don't think that the wing tips are going to go anywhere, so I don't think it's a big deal, but I do want to kind of close this bird up a little bit by tying the legs together like that. So when I'm going to wash my hands and tie up the legs, and then I'll be back when we're ready to add the vegetables. There's our chicken looking a little bit more ladylike with the legs crossed there. I think this helps the chicken cook a little bit more evenly. So I just used I cut off a strip of cheesecloth and tied the legs up. Like I said, I don't have any twine. I also want to let you guys know today I am cooking my chicken in my 6-quart round Dutch oven. It's an enamel coated Dutch oven, and I got mine. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says Kirkland. I got mine at Costco. The bottom you can't really see because it's got some chicken juice and stuff like that in there right now, but it gets a little stained up with this light interior, but it doesn't hurt anything. You want to make sure that you use like bamboo or silicone or nylon utensils in here because you don't want it to get scratched. No metal utensils in an enamel lined Dutch oven. And the great thing about the Dutch oven is that it can go from stove to oven. You can just go in the oven, it could just go on the stove, whatever you like. But it's really nice if you start something like stew or roast where you brown the meat. You can brown it all on the stovetop, put all your vegetables in, and throw it in the oven. And this one does have a metal handle on the lid, so I think it's oven safe up to like 500 degrees. So right now I have my oven preheating on 450. Seems kind of high. I like to roast my chicken or turkey at a high temperature for about 20 minutes, get it nice and golden brown on the skin, and then I like to turn it down and slow roast it the rest of the way. So I'll put it on 450 for probably about 20 minutes, and then I'll turn it down to 325-ish, and then probably cook it for another 40 to 50 minutes. I'm a fan of having my chicken and my turkey pretty well done. I'm not a fan of seeing any kind of blood or anything like that when I cook chicken. I like it to kind of fall off the bone. Some people worry that the breasts might get a little dry, but I think the addition of like the butter under the skin and the herbs and all that really help. So now I'm going to show you guys the vegetables. They're right here. Sorry, my phone cord is on top of them. There's about a cup of baby carrots. This right here is a dried garlic slivers that I get at Big Lots. I really like that because I don't have to make sure I have fresh garlic on hand, especially with something that's going to cook for as long as this does. It'll just rehydrate in the juices. There is probably, I don't know, 2 stalks of celery, not too much celery. I do like celery in this for flavor, but I'm not a huge fan of just eating roasted celery as like a side vegetable. I mean, I eat it, but I mostly put it in for flavor. 1 large red onion, because it's what I had. You could use any onion you want. You could use a sweet onion. You could use just white or yellow. I happen to have a red onion on hand, and I think they look kind of nice when you're roasting it and eating it like as a vegetable instead of just putting it in as a seasoning. And then right here are some of those little petite blush red potatoes that I got from my gleaning program. And all the vegetables here, except for those dried garlic slices, everything here is from my gleaning program. The onion was from my gleaning program probably from a week or two ago. The celery and carrots came out of that vegetable tray, and the potatoes I got also from there. You probably saw them in one of my last haul videos. So pretty much my entire meal, I think actually my entire meal except for seasonings today is going to come from my gleaning program. I also have some French bread that I'm probably going to warm up with this. And I may even make a box of stovetop, because with chicken dinner, I really like stuffing. But I'm not a fan of putting it inside the bird. My dad really likes it that way, so at Thanksgiving I always make two, because I stuff the bird with stuffing for him, and I put stuffing in a pan for me, and that's just how we do it. So I'm going to put the vegetables in. I like to put the carrots in first, because I think that they need the most cooking time, so they do the best in the bottom where they can sit in the juice. So, sorry, I'm caught. There we go. I'm just going to set all the carrots in there. And this isn't like fancy dinner. You don't have to know a whole lot of cooking to make this kind of a meal. As long as you cook it for like the appropriate amount of time, you really can't go wrong. So especially if you're, just learning to cook, or just learning to cook things homemade, I think roasting a chicken with vegetables is a really easy and good way to start. The next we'll do the potatoes. And you just set them in there around the turkey, or the chicken. I keep calling it turkey because I don't usually roast my own chickens. I have to admit, a lot of times I pick up a roasted chicken. Not from the grocery store, because I think that's too expensive, but Costco has amazing roast chickens. They use very large chickens. Like, their roast chicken would be way bigger than this. And they're $5 all the time, $4.99. So a lot of times, if I want a rotisserie chicken to either eat and then use for like other meals, because a rotisserie chicken's a great thing to make other meals out of as well, but I hardly ever roast off my own. The reason why I'm doing this one is because I got it, like I said, from my gleaning program. Sometimes chickens really do go on sale quite cheaply, and so, I mean, it's a good way to get like multiple uses out of one meal too, because this will make this chicken dinner, and it's just me, so I'll eat this for like probably for 4 meals, and then I will take all of the chicken carcass, like the bones and the extra chicken meat, and I think I'm going to make chicken and dumplings for you guys with that. So so look for that video coming up soon after this one. But here's the rest of the vegetables. I'm just adding just a couple more potatoes I need to throw in there. I'm just going to start adding the onions in. And you just put them all around. It's not, there's no science to it. I kind of break up the onions a little bit so that they cook well. And then the celery can just go with it too. No rhyme or reason. Just throw it all in there around the chicken. I think roasting it like this in a Dutch oven too also helps to keep the chicken moist, because the chicken ends up sitting in a lot of the juice and sauce that comes off of these vegetables, and also the chicken itself. And I'm just going to take these, kind of dump the rest in if I can. This is very hard to do one-handed. Not my normal. So there's that. I'll get the rest of those little pieces of garlic in here shortly. I'm also going to add probably a half a cup of water to the bottom, and it's just so that when it's in the oven at such a high temperature, the vegetables don't get burnt on the bottom. You can kind of all stuff that around the chicken, kind of get it underneath a little bit, get the chicken on top. Go. And see, the wings are kind of even buried in there. They're not going to burn or anything. It's another reason why I don't trust the chicken. I just think that it doesn't need it. So there it is, pretty much ready to go into the oven. I'll probably sprinkle just a little bit of salt and pepper over just the vegetable portion and add that 1/2 cup of water. Alright, so here's some pink Himalayan salt. Just going to kind of sprinkle it around on the vegetables. The chicken already has seasoning on it, so I'm not going to try and get too much on the chicken itself. And then just a little bit of pepper. A lot of times I grind my own fresh ground. I have a mill. I actually really like the mill from Trader Joe's, if you guys have ever used it, the rainbow peppercorns. It's really great. But since I only have one hand, I'm just going to go ahead and use this pepper. So shake that all on there. And then I'm going to get a 1/2 cup of water. So that's probably about a 1/2 cup of water. I think this is about a 1/2 cup container, so I just filled it with water from the sink. Our water is in here in Washington, where I live anyway, is really great. I do have a pure filter on there for when I drink it, but sometimes I even forget to turn that on when I get a drink of water. So we're really lucky in that aspect, but if you don't, you feel free to use, bottled water or whatever. So there's the chicken and the vegetables, and so I'm going to put this in the oven at 450. My oven is preheated, and this Dutch oven, like I said, just goes straight into the oven with no problems. After the 20 minutes, I will try and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, there is our chicken after about 20 minutes. You can kind of hear it sizzling away there. The chicken has a nice, brown color to it. There's not a whole lot of liquid in the bottom, but the chicken and the vegetables will still render off their juice. And I like enough liquid to make a gravy, but I don't like so much that it's like swimming in it, because then you're kind of boiling it rather than roasting it. So I'm going to put that lid on right there. Stick this back in the oven. I've turned it down to 325. And I'll probably let this go about another 45 minutes or so, and when it's all finished, I will bring you guys back and show you what it looks like. There is our perfectly done chicken. Just came out of the oven. I'm going to take the chicken out, put it on a plate, cover it with some foil, let it rest. I'll take the vegetables out, put them in a separate dish, and then I will show you guys how I make a quick gravy for the vegetables with the drippings. Okay, so the chicken is resting right now. You want to let your meat rest for 5 to 10 minutes before you cut it so that the juices can redistribute and they won't all run out and your meat won't be dry. I took the veggies out and set them to the side. And then here's our pan drippings that are left from the juice from the chicken and the vegetables and all the seasonings. I tasted it. It tastes pretty good. It didn't really need anything. I added just a pinch more salt. There's a little bit of fat on top. This chicken wasn't very fatty. If you wanted to, you could use a gravy separator and take the fat off or skim the fat off. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in. There's probably only a cup and a half, maybe 2 cups of liquid here, and gravy, is just an accent on your food. You're not going to eat the entire, 1 to 2 cup portion by yourself. So to thicken sauce that's already hot, I use this. It's Wondra flour. It can go into hot liquids. They're not supposed to be boiling, but it can go into hot liquids without clumping. Which is really nice when you make a meal like this, or a stew, or a pot roast, or something like that, where the liquid that you're making into gravy is already going to be hot. You don't have to make a roux, or you don't have to make a slurry. So I'm just going to shake in, I'd say, a couple of tablespoons, because it's probably about 2 cups of liquid. So I'll start there, and I'm going to turn my heat on to medium-high, and I have a whisk right here. I'm just going to whisk that in. Silicone whisk so I don't scratch my enameled cast iron pan. I think even with just the heat of the liquid still from the oven, this is already thickening up a little bit. To get it to its thickest consistency, you want to bring it up to a boil and just let it boil for like a minute or so, and then it should be done. If you think it's too thick, you can thin it out with a little bit of broth or water. If it's too thin, turn it back down so it's not boiling and add some more of the Wondra in. I just like a little bit of the thickened pan drippings on my vegetables and on my chicken, especially the breast, because even when you butter it like I did, the breast can still be just a little bit dry, and this helps that, especially if you're eating leftovers too. So I can hear it starting already. There it goes. And that's a great consistency for me. I like a little bit thicker of a gravy than some people might. And you can see a little bit of fat on there. It won't hurt anything. If you wanted to, you could skim it off. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, there we go. So there's our thickened pan drippings. And I am going to serve up a plate, and I will show you guys what that looks like when I'm all done, and then I'm going to enjoy my dinner. Alright, so that's my dinner all plated up. There's part of a chicken breast there, the leg. I did end up making some stovetop there, and some extra green vegetables. I like to have plenty of vegetables with my meal. I just sauteed some asparagus and some broccoli. Here's a little slice of French bread there, and my roasted vegetables. I hope you guys give this a try. I hope you like these videos. Sorry about the shaky camera. I'm really not used to cooking with one hand. If I continue on with these videos, maybe someday soon I'll get to have a little bit better investment and get a tripod and make it a little bit more steady for you guys. But for now, this is what I have, so I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys try roasting a whole chicken. It's pretty easy. And if you guys try this recipe and you like it, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.